A big part of 6.0 is this, well, there's a big change in the architecture under the hood to 64-bit, as well as this reinvigoration of the UI, a refresh of the UI. Terry, you've probably spent more time than anybody here working with MC6. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like the product has gotten better without forcing you to have to learn a lot of new things?
For me, the 64-bit was a bigger thing because, that got rid of any of the running out of memory errors. We've moved from the world of everything was done in the dedicated hardware of the old systems, which was great, everything was rock solid, to this universe where everything's kind of done, in RAM on the computer, and so we need the access to that more memory, and this is really making a big difference.
It used to be that the actual project size, everything was really small, people didn't shoot that much footage. Now, especially in the reality world, it's not uncommon for people to have a 6 gig project, which is huge. If you don't even have that much RAM in your computer, how do you manage all of that, and how do you keep the sequences opening quickly? So the 64-bit has been a huge help with those types of projects.
For me, I'm excited about not having to wait for it to catch up, or being able to put have 6 music track, or a lot of stereo music tracks that I can weave in and out. So I think, I'm excited about that portion of it, and I think it's gotten better.
In Media Composer 6, one of the big additions is AVC HD via AMA and support for Red Epic. As editors and as workflow specialists, it seems like in the past few years, one of the biggest issues you have to deal with is all these different formats that are being thrown at you every day. What kind of impact does that have on you in editorial when you have to deal with all this different stuff?
Now that we're going in the file-based world, where anybody sitting in his garage can write the next codec, they're coming out fast and furious left and right. And trying to stay ahead of this is a constant nightmare. You just get, a client walks in, here's the files. What do I do with them? I mean, it won't open up, I don't know what it is. Client doesn't know what it is, he doesn't know what the guy shot, it becomes a big nightmare. So the more support that you guys can give us, which you've been doing, is great. The fact that I can load these things in now, open them up instantly, instead of trying to import for half an hour and finding out I got a white screen because the codec wasn't supported, are great. So the AMA is really helping in that universe.
Avid's changed from a very closed company with software and codecs and video formats and hardware, into now we've seen you guys blossom into this open collaborative company, which is really awesome, because Avid's done a really good job of bringing new technology to you, but keeping it the same, keeping that familiar interface that you learned in film school, and then just giving you new tools along the way to do new technologies or new things. Even if you look at the new UI, there are changes there, but it's still based off the same core. We didn't go radically different, but you have things like tabbed browsing or tabbed bins now, so you can deal with all of the amount of extra footage in the organizations, but do it in a nice, consistent way. That's the thing that keeps me, energized with the product. And then the collaboration, Unity, ISIS, shared projects, it's never been repeated by anyone else.
I really feel like they're listening, or you guys are listening to what we say, and you're actually delivering the solutions that we need. If
there's any improvement or enhancement in Media Composer 6, it's got people talking, it's that we're now open to third-party hardware. So with Media Composer, while you still have available to you, Avid hardware that's dedicated to working with the application, you can choose products from Blackmagic and AJ and other manufacturers. How important is it to be able to pick and choose what hardware you use with your editing application?
It's much more economical for me to buy one piece of hardware that I can share amongst different applications, as opposed to having to have dedicated different pieces. That said, I know Avid still is providing, the Nitrous DX, and there's a value added there. If you're doing 3D or if you're doing, AVC HD, you get a boost from that. Plus, there's a lot more I/O coming out of that, different types of, composite component, et cetera. There's more coming out of that than out of other third-party hardware. So there is still a value added, in what Avid's providing.
Yeah, and for us, it's about flexibility, because you're always going to have new scenarios, new situations. So, we'll still use the Avid hardware, but then if we need different solution. We need something that's mobile, and we need a different I/O box, or we have something that's going to go out in the field that already has an AJA card in it or a Blackmagic. Then we now have the ability to just have video I/O out of those boxes.
And I'm also able to choose from the other, opportunities out there to see which is, where can I save the most money but still get what I need for that specific application. So having that flexibility is really important.